You told me to go 3 hours yesterday without mentioning a certain individual's name. Well, I don't think we could avoid it today. Kidder and Cobb with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. I hope everybody has had a great Wednesday. I'm Justin Kidder. He's Kev Nash. Mr. Kev Nash, welcome.
What up, though?
Off and rolling here on a Wednesday. Coming at you live on the Justin Kidder Show Facebook page, ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow along. Let's see. You could stream us at wingam.com. And then, of course, the old school way, the 1410 Wing AM dial. So however you do it, we appreciate it. Welcome in. Lots to get into. So, yes, that name, Kev, that we were joking about, that we were not allowed to talk about or not allowed to mention yesterday. It's not that we weren't allowed, but we're tired of hearing it. Trying to hear it. And technically, although we're one step closer to not having this storyline really hover over the heads of all sports media headlines out there, I think it's going to be a while before we're not talking about this individual. That individual's name is Aaron Rodgers. One of my best friends, Brad Mays, Brad Mays, you know Brad.
Yes, great guy.
He's a gigantic Dolphins fan, but a big Aaron Rodgers fan.
Okay.
And I can call him every name in the book. Our friendship's fine. I criticize Aaron Rodgers, and he's not talking to me. I don't understand. Like, he gets real sensitive about Aaron Rodgers. I have no idea why. But Aaron Rodgers was just so confused today. He doesn't understand how everyone's he doesn't understand why everyone's just making up these stories. Like, there was no demand list. The Jets just happened to go after below mid-level talent that they never would have gone after for just no reason, right? There was no demand list. He said, I made it very clear on Friday that I was intending on playing for the Jets. Oh, you did? When? What? How did you make that clear? He is the exact definition of gaslighting. Like, he's gaslighting the media and everybody. I can't stand him. But from a football perspective, the AFC just got way more difficult. I know that he is not officially a Jet yet, but we know that the trade is being worked on and that eventually it will be agreed upon, and he is out of Green Bay and he's going to be in the AFC. He's going to be with the New York Jets. And that's now officially a problem for Browns fans, for Bengals fans, for you Steelers fans, for
it's not
AFC
a problem for
fans.
us because we're not in contention. So,
Okay.
There's only teams that have dreams of winning the Super Bowl. We're dreaming if we think we're going to win the Super Bowl.
Well, I hope we hear from Packers fan Tim, because he called me the other day and he said that we're all that, Aaron Rodgers ain't leaving Green Bay. Why ain't up to Aaron Rodgers? Green Bay said, the hell with you. We're done with you. We're moving on. And I think the Packers made the right decision. Obviously, we're talking about something that's official but not official. It's so weird, but nonetheless. Look, I don't really care about my opinion of Aaron Rodgers. I don't think you guys care. I don't think you care. I think we all have different opinions on Aaron Rodgers. But the one thing, and they all vary, but the one thing that does not vary is our opinions on, and maybe it does, but who he is as a quarterback. And the thing is I've always said, is your talent worth the noise? If you're not very talented and you're a distraction and you're doing a lot of egotistical things, the teams aren't going to put up with it.
Right.
See ya. But if you're extremely talented and teams will bend over backwards to get you on their team, they're going to put up with the narcissistic personality that is Aaron Rodgers. And that's exactly what's happening here. The Green Bay Packers and the New York Jets, for as long as these teams have beyond, they're going to put up with the narcissistic behavior of Aaron Rodgers, which, is fine. Teams in the NBA, Major League Baseball, across the board, every pro sport out there, these professional teams deal with narcissistic, egotistical behavior from some of these professional athletes. They get bullied around, they get pushed around. You don't need to feel sorry for the owners, by the way, but they do it because the talent is worth the noise. The one thing I can say, as much as Aaron Rodgers' personality drives me up the wall, his talent, Kev, in my opinion, it's beyond worth the noise. And now that the Jets, once they get the ink, dried on that contract, the Jets are going to be scary this year. That's for sure.
Absolutely. For me, it's what's the compensation for Aaron Rodgers? What are the Jets giving up for Aaron Rodgers? Because obviously I doubt that these things happen, but if you have to give up Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner, no, it's not going to be great. But obviously they probably won't be giving up those two guys to get Aaron Rodgers. It's probably going to be a multitude of picks. But I want to see the compensation that Green Bay is going to get back for a Hall of Fame quarterback who can still play some pretty good football.
So it sounds like originally the Packers had wanted, according to reports saying they were seeing the earlier today, saying that at the beginning they had technically wanted what the Rams had got, or the Lions had got from Matthew Stafford. But the difference is Matthew Stafford still has quite a few years left in the league. I know he's been around a while.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers, you never know what day he's going to retire.
Flighty.
It could be right in the middle. It could be week 8. It could be week 9. It could be, it could be April of next year. Who knows? But it sounds like it's going to be multiple second-round picks. It's going to be a litany of picks But maybe just one first rounder. I don't know. You got to give up something. He's going to bring you a Super Bowl, or he's going to make you a Super Bowl contender. So whatever the asking price, fine. But I'm with you. Don't give up Garrett Wilson. Don't give up any of the young wide receivers. That's why I thought that wish list that he tried to pretend he knew, like the Jets were not going to bring those mid-tier guys in for no reason. Like, stop it with that. Like that, and besides, Diana Rossini never said that it was a demand list. It was a wish list. She reported that it was a wish list from the very beginning. So why get defensive? All he had to do was just say, yeah, we sat down and there's some guys that I would like to play with. I've had success with Green Bay. I'd like you to target OBJ, but he did this whole I don't know if you heard any of it.
I saw some of it. I saw
it just
some of
made
it.
my skin crawl, but nonetheless, from a talent perspective, they're not going to have to give up Garrett Wilson. That's why you don't bring in the mid-tier talent that he was wanting to take reps and opportunities away from those guys. Either way, it's a scary tandem out there in New York as far as the Jets are concerned, if Aaron Rodgers and when Aaron Rodgers gets out there.
And the second part that I would be concerned about if I'm a Jets fan, when are you showing up? Are you showing up to minicamp? Are you showing up to be the leader? Are you going to do all the things that you didn't do with the young receiving core that you had in Green Bay last year? You just simply show up, for the mandatory stuff and be on your merry way? Or are you going to go the extra mile to get rapport with these young wide receivers? Because if you're not going to do those things, then I will want to go elsewhere. I know he's super talented. I know he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. I'm an Aaron Rodgers football fan. I love to watch him play. But it's those other things that perturb you. And his talking really doesn't bother me. I more laugh at it, but not getting rapport with your young wide receiver core, with an organization you have history with. And then if you do show up to these young wide receivers in New York, I would be thinking, if I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, well, hold on. We drafted you. We helped develop you. We gave you this. We paid you a lot of money. Why are you going the extra mile for a team that you have no love for? It's just simply a mercenary type of situation. That's how I would feel if I was a Green Bay Packers fan, and we got a Green Bay Packers fan on the line right now.
Yeah, last thing real quick. We're going to Packers fan Tim. We called him out. He's calling in. We'll get to him in a second. But so this is the weapons that Aaron Rodgers will have over in New York: Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis, Alan Lazard, and Elijah Moore. Now, Elijah Moore's name has been brought up in some potential trade conversations. Tyler Conklin at tight end with CJ Uzomah again. So there's some weapons there. This is a much more skill set team than what he had over in Green Bay. Even 2 years ago when he won the MVP with Devontae Adams was the guy, but
right.
I mean, solid guys around him, but nothing like this. Is a more balanced offense. And then of course you have the Breece Hall, who was out for the majority of last year. He's my fantasy running back. Got him late in my fantasy draft, and he ended up.
You got an Iowa State player as a fantasy football. You hate Iowa State.
So Breece Hall, yeah. Well, once he got, he became more dominant when he got to the NFL, better coaching. So nonetheless, but this isn't finalized yet, but that's where it's headed. We're live on Facebook, Justin Kinner Show Facebook page, ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. We'll get to the phones, 518-1410. But Zachariah Ganya on Facebook, Kev, let me make sure everyone that is watching on this can actually read this. So let me change the font on it. There we go. Rodgers is such a baby. And as a Bills fan, I couldn't be more excited to see him burn the Jets down to the ground. Such a child, he says. He goes on to say he is not better than Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert, Lawrence, Jackson. His drama overmatches his talent level. Zachary, I appreciate your passion and dislike for Aaron Rodgers, because it seems like it's up there with mine. However, I don't like Aaron Rodgers, the personality. I'm not saying the person. I don't know him, the person, but the personality drives me crazy. But the talent is, I disagree with you there. I mean, I think he's, especially now that he has talent. By the way, last year, I don't think he declined. I think that the team declined, and you're at the mercy of the weapons around you. So I think that him going to the Jets, I think he's going to return to MVP form, and I think he is as good as Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, Herbert, Lawrence, Jackson, et cetera, et cetera. We could rank those later, but
oh boy,
I don't think that, and I don't think that he is at the bottom of the list with all those guys you just mentioned. But if that's what he has to go out and prove it. That's for sure. All right, Packers fan Tim, let us have it.
Hey, well, first of all, if you remember when I called a couple of days ago, I said that I'd be happy for Rodgers if he goes to the Jets, if that's what he wants. The Packers, it's a win-win. Jordan Love, I think, let's start that. They believe he's ready. I think he's probably ready. My thought doesn't matter. I'd love for Rodgers to stay. I would have liked him to stay retired as a Packer. He's been with one team. He's been nobody in all of professional sports at this point had been with the team as long as Rodgers has been with the Packers. And to me, that's kind of special. The Packers are different. But I did mention, too, that Rodgers having a top 4 defense. The Jets were number 4 in yards allowed, and more importantly, number 4 in points allowed. And they've got a great defensive head coach. Rodgers has never had that. And I think a better offense will make that defense even better. There are tough games. They got the Chiefs at home in New York. I'm excited, too, because now I'm going to have an AFC fan. I just don't want to see those two teams play each other in the Super Bowl at any time, because, I will always root for the Packers. But, I'm excited for Aaron Rodgers, man. He will go there. Now, last year, people get upset because one year he didn't go, and do he had to get his mind right. Rodgers, I want the quarterback to make sure he's ready. Like he said, those young receivers don't need him there. He said they're going to learn more from being there with Randall Cobb. They need to learn where things are at, how they do stuff, all of that stuff. They don't have to start running routes with Rodgers right away. Now, I do believe he will go to the Jets because he himself has to learn all kinds of things. So I think he's going to be in there early. And something that was a little bit of a clue a couple weeks. Now, I didn't see any of the Pat McAfee. I just got off teaching, and I'm on my way home. That's when I listened to you guys.
You're a teacher?
Yes.
Never, I've met you a few times. I've never even asked you what you do.
I'm a retired illustrator. I did that from 1984 to 2004. Then I moved into portrait painting. I taught at UD for 20 years. And this is now I'm 63. A few years ago, I started teaching high school. But anyway, so
nice resume.
That's probably more than enough people need to know about me.
No, you're
but
good.
Anyways, when I was listening to the Marcus, was it Marcus? His one guru buddy now, and he said at that time that he had to come to terms with this is when he came out of that darkness. Saying, what am I? And he says, he was talking about coming to grips that that's what he is. He's a football player. So I think the Jets are going to have him for more than a year. And the thing that's going to be unique is what the Packers, they want a lot for Rodgers. But the Jets are doing them a favor. This is going to create all kinds of cap space. And the Jets don't want to give up much. They're not giving Garrett Wilson away or Breece Hall or any of those guys, man. They're not going anywhere. I think maybe Corey, what's his last name? Is Corey Davis? Maybe he might be involved in a trade. Oh, and also when I saw this morning, that they signed Lazard, I thought, okay, Rodgers is going to the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
The Jets. Rodgers is going to the Jets. Once I saw that Lazard was gone. And the other thing is, like I said, I didn't watch the show today, but what I understood when somebody played a clip in the previous show part of that, or maybe is on us flipping around trying to get the news, and it said that he, knew and said what he was going to do on Friday. That means the Jets knew, and that means the Packers knew all this stuff on Friday just because we didn't. And really, who in the heck are we? He doesn't owe us, anything. And maybe they wanted to keep things under wraps for a little bit. I'm not sure. But anyways, he said he was going to let the Packers know early, and he did. That was just, by last Friday, he said he made that decision and let it known. So I think the Packers knew and the Jets knew. And so somebody to follow maybe on some of this if people are interested. Actually, I don't know why people that are, unless you're a Jets or a Packers fan, why you care. But Trey Wingo is the guy that's had things right. He's the one that said, hey, the Jets are flying out there to meet Rodgers before anybody saw him on the plane or anything like that. He's the one that said they had a deal. Rodgers is going to be going to the Jets or just nailing, out some, final things. And I think it's about compensation and that stuff. And I think both teams have a lot of leverage because Rodgers said, yep, I'll go play for the Jets. The Jets want Rodgers. Packers know that. But so they want a lot of the Jets, but the Jets also say, hey, we're taking them off your hands. This is going to give you guys cap space. You're not going to have a quarterback controversy. So both of them actually have a good case why they should get more of what it is that they want. But I'm pretty certain they're going to get something worked out. And, watching Rodgers, yes, he had a bad year. He was fifth in the league, I think, in touchdown passes instead of being first or second like he always is. He threw for double-digit, interceptions, which he's only done 2 or 3 times in 15 years as a starter. Rodgers, his efficiency is insane. Rodgers throws so many less passes than Mahomes and Brady and especially Herbert and Brady. Those guys are throwing 700 passes. I think Brady threw 750. And this guy throws more touchdowns. And even his playoff record, Rodgers has thrown 45 touchdown passes in the playoffs.
Well, you can brag about the regular season, but the playoffs is where he comes up short. I mean, you can't be as dominant as Aaron Rodgers and not be in the Super Bowl in over a decade.
You're going to see what he does with the defense. You're going to see what he does with some really, really talented guys. I mean, the Packers have had some good teams, but there's always been some incredible boneheaded things that somebody's done, or a fumble, or, anybody that's a Packers fan is aware of these things. And yes, he didn't play his greatest, against the 49ers, but that game against Brady and the Bucs, he outplayed Tom Brady. The only reason that game was close was because of Rodgers. We had a couple of guys making some really stupid things, like letting a guy get behind you with 5 seconds left in the first half, when the things you just don't let them score. They don't have time for a field goal or anything. They got one, play, and what does Kevin King do? Let that guy run around behind him.
He's not your quarterback anymore, Tim. It's okay. You can relax. He's not your quarterback anymore.
You know what? The cool thing, Jordan Love. I'm excited. I'm so pumped about the Jordan Love show beginning. And what's going to be really cool, we're going to have the same thing happen again. We're going to have back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks. This is going to be cool. Plus, I got another team to root for. Now I can get more involved with you guys having an AFC team. So that's it, guys. Thanks.
Hey, take care, Tim. Appreciate you. Teacher Tim. Man, you learn something every day.
That resume is outstanding.
Yep. But nonetheless, Aaron Rodgers, though, I know he's great, but also lost to Jared Goff in a playoff game, basically, at Lambeau. He lost to the guy Jimmy Garoppolo outplayed you at Lambeau to knock you out of the playoffs. We'll see what happens with the old Jets, Jets. Jets. Kinner and Kev. Juju Smith-Schuster signed with a new team.
Oh, really?
Not your team, not my team, not the Bengals, not the defending Super Bowl champions either. He's on a new team. We'll talk about that when we come back. And the Bengals, they are down 4 players from the team that nearly got them back-to-back Super Bowls last year. They haven't added anything. They just keep subtracting. We'll talk about that when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Our forecast: increasing clouds and 32 tonight, partly sunny tomorrow, high of 58. Friday, rain, breezy, and 53. I'm Rick Schremp for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Calling all HVAC service technicians. Are you tired of working 12 hours straight with no overtime pay? At REEK, you're eligible for overtime if you work more than 8 hours in one day. REEK has been servicing commercial HVAC systems in the Miami Valley for over 130 years, and we're hiring dedicated, talented technicians who are looking for a long-term career in the HVAC industry. Ask about our generous signing bonus today. Apply at reekservices.com. That's RIECK services.com.
Do you or any of your family members, neighbors, or friends own a property that you just want to be done with it? If so, call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you to take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. Call 614-470-2000. That's 614-470-2000.
3 people you should be 100% certain about: your barber, your plumber, and your tax pro. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and you can be 100% certain about your taxes. We'll get you your maximum refund guaranteed, and we'll back your return for life. Don't be kind of certain or almost certain. Be 100% certain. Switch to Jackson Hewitt today and get 50% off tax prep. Limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone, America's #1 brakes destination. We have the pads, rotors, drums, shoes, and brake fluids to improve your stopping power. Right now, save 15% when you get any 2 Duralast rotors with the set of Duralast brake pads. Missing a tool? Ask about our free Loan-A-Tool program and borrow the tools you need to get the job done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the MPD Group 2021. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool.
The Big Hoopla Free STEM Challenge is back. Bring the family to the Dayton Convention Center Sunday, March 12th. On-site registration begins at 11:30 a.m. with the opening ceremony at 1 p.m. Experience the passion for college basketball and the power of STEM education. Enjoy hands-on exhibits and compete in the basketball hotshot with prizes awarded. K through 8th grade students may pre-register for the free STEM Challenge championed by Chaminade Julian High School at DaytonHoopla.com. Attention business owners, if you are hearing my voice and have 5 or more W-2 employees, you may be entitled to a tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. OhioRefund.com helped a business owner with 23 employees, and they received a refund of over $375,000. To check your company's eligibility to receive this government-approved program of up to $26,000 per employee, call 800-460-6489. That's 800-460-6489. We have already secured millions of dollars for businesses just like yours. At OhioRefund.com, you will find out with no cost up front how much money your company can receive. Even if you have PPP money, you can still qualify. This is a payroll tax refund program approved by the United States Treasury Department for any business who kept employees on payroll during the pandemic. Best of all, these funds do not have to be paid back. Do not miss this opportunity to claim up to $26,000 per employee. Call 800-460-6489. That's 800-460-6489.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. Excellent pay, benefits, and a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Apply today. Online at CordellTransportation.com. Driven to succeed.
Clearview Cabinetry starts as a kitchen built for now and grows with you as life changes. It's flexible by design with full access cabinet construction, so you can go from doors to drawers for storage that works when you need it. Right now, get 11% off. Clearview Cabinetry, and give your kitchen the upgrade it deserves. Good through March 19th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
College basketball frickin' heats up this year like never before. Frickers brings back a fan favorite, frickin' street tacos that add to the drama that the tournament provides. Frickin' chicken tacos, char-broiled chicken tacos, and Mississippi barbecue taco. Frickers also scores with a 48-ounce personal pitcher of ice-cold domestic draft beer for only $6.50 all the games. Frickin' street tacos, $6.50 personal pitchers, nowhere else but the home for fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
United Rentals Spring Equipment Blowout is happening Thursday, March 23rd from 7 to 5. Skid steers, mini excavators, boom lifts, scissor lifts, forklifts, concrete tools, and more. Stop by United Rentals Spring Equipment Sale, March 23rd on Executive Boulevard in Huber Heights. And let's make a deal.
It's been tough talking to my doctor about constipation with belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. I finally laid all my symptoms out there and how they keep coming back. She said I may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. We agreed it's time to try something different.
Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess works differently than laxatives. It lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2 years old. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. There could be more to your story with IBS-C. Visit a doctor in person or online. Say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by AbbVie and Ironwood Pharmaceuticals.
If you have an IRA or 401k, please listen closely. My name is Jason Hansen. I'm a former CIA officer and New York Times bestselling author. Throughout my career, let's just say I've been in some hairy situations. And I believe right now the biggest threat facing Americans is they need to protect their wealth, which is exactly what I'm doing for my wife and 6 kids. And I believe the ultimate safe haven is physical gold and silver. You can protect your hard-earned retirement assets with a tax-free loophole that allows you to convert your retirement into physical gold and silver. The folks I use are Advantage Gold, and believe me, I've investigated the heck out of all types of people. Advantage Gold is the nation's highest rated gold company. They have the best process, pricing, and service. If you want to get your free gold and silver investment kit, please contact Advantage Gold right now, and you'll see how easy it is to protect yourself with precious metals. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
Call 800-900-8000.
Staples stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
Dayton sports fans, for more local sports content, make sure to subscribe to Dayton's ESPN Radio YouTube channel. And don't miss the Miami Valley's only local sports talk show, The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 Wing AM.
Kenner and Cat back with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. So it's been kind of a quiet day as far as free agency is concerned, as far as the Browns and the Bengals are concerned. Real quick, just through a couple headlines. Juju Smith-Schuster signing with the New England Patriots. Steelers to the Chiefs to the Patriots. So there's that. The Cowboys potentially will be releasing Ezekiel Elliott.
Yep.
That's not surprising. That's just the nature of doing business with running backs. He got he ran through the rookie deal, got a big contract, and then even got an extension off of that. So at the end of the day, it's just kind of one of those things like, Cowboys fans all upset about that. I'm like, why are we upset about that? You got Pollard. Like that was the right decision, the smart decision, you can't be too loyal because then you risk, loyalty can hurt you in the long run as far as that's concerned, as far as holding on to a player a little bit too long. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens as far as that's concerned. But with where we're at right now, we opened up with, of course, Aaron Rodgers. Look, this really isn't news. Nothing's really changed. We kind of knew all this stuff anyways, but Aaron Rodgers does this thing, and by the way, I know Tim, the Packers fan that called in earlier, said something along the lines of, we're not owed anything. Well, we're not, but we, the fans and the media, everyone plays a role in how this stuff gets out there. So I've always said, control the narrative. And I found it beyond hypocritical of the narcissist that is Aaron Rodgers to utter the words, I just want transparency. You're the most untransparent human being in the history of the world. Like, what are you talking about? You want transparency. You want transparency from the team that you've been holding hostage from year to year to year, the last 3 years, and even your new team. Yeah, I mean, what are we doing here? Like, don't talk about transparency. Like the owners don't even hear from Aaron Rodgers. They reach out. He doesn't return calls. That's not an opinion. That's out there. That's been reported on. So I just thought it was very hypocritical of him as far as that's concerned.
So let me ask you this. As fans, what do athletes owe us?
I mean, we think they owe us everything. I mean, I don't even know how to answer that. I know what you're asking, but I don't even know how to answer that.
I don't know either. They owe us their best. They owe us. I don't know. I just don't know.
But I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's like I'm saying he's breaking a rule that doesn't technically exist. But what I mean is sometimes it's called just being in control. You got to control the narrative.
Right.
And when athletes do this whole, I don't know you guys anything. Okay, that's fine. But with that, the repercussions of that comes everyone else filling in the blanks. And I've always said this about college athletic directors in general, when you're not transparent, whatever when you're not transparent about the story, I promise you, whatever fans and media fill in is going to be worse than what the actual story is. So but Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to be up front because he likes dragging things on.
Right.
He likes things to be dragged out. So we talk about him more. He's a narcissist. I mean, that's just really what it comes down to. He wants to be talked about. If this stuff really, he's not bothered by this. He loves this. Like, it just drives me nuts. Like, at the end of the day.
For some stuff as an organization, you have to keep close to the vest. So say, for instance, there's a offensive tackle at blah, blah, blah state that the Cincinnati Bengals got their eye on. Nobody's been to his pro day. Like, he plays for Montana State, but they got their eye on him and they know, like, hey, man, let's just keep this under wraps. Hopefully, hey, man, he falls to the 4th round. We can scoop him up, man. He could be the next Anthony Munoz. Like, they're not going to go out to the public and say, hey, guys, this guy out in Montana, man. You guys got to get out there and check him out. They're going to try to keep it close to the vest. And as a fan base, we love that. But then on the flip side, we want all the information all the time. And more importantly, we want the truth. And sometimes as fans, to quote a famous movie, we can't handle the truth. So, like, I just don't know as a fan, what do we want from our athletes? Because on one side, you have Aaron Rodgers, who makes a weekly weekly spot on the Pat McAfee show to get his side of the story out there. And somehow it's always even more confusing after he goes on there, even though he has an hour or 2 segment to express himself, and we leave more confused. And then we got Lamar Jackson, who doesn't speak to the media outside of the football season. And then we get his LeBron-esque cryptic tweets saying that's cap about a contract. And then you have other athletes out there who don't talk to the media at all. And we like, well, you got to say something. You got to speak up for yourself. And then we have athletes that do speak up for themselves. And then we're like, well, you can't say that. So I just get confused about, like, and myself included, like, so what do I want them to say? Because I can tell you what I don't want them to say. I don't want them doing what Aaron Rodgers is doing right now. I don't want that. I don't want my potential starting quarterback, if I'm a New York Jets fan, to be out here constantly going back and forth with reputable writers from ESPN, because they're not going back and forth with talking heads on ESPN. They're not going back and forth with those guys. They're going back and forth with Diana Rossetti, like a reporter. Like, they're doing their knowledge and they're doing their digging. Like, these people aren't giving their opinions. They're like, hey, this is what I'm hearing from my X amount of sources. It was kind of the same thing that I was talking about with the Jackson Smith and Jigba situation, where I'm hearing from who was it? The draft expert.
Which one? I'm sorry. There's Mel Kiper. There's
Mel Kiper's buddy. McShay was saying this, that, and the third about Jackson Smith and Jigba. He wasn't giving his opinion. He was giving what he was hearing. I don't have a problem with the reporters reporting what they're hearing. What I do have a problem with is him going at them, because they're simply doing their job. Now, the talking heads, I have no problem with athletes going back and forth with talking heads, a la Stephen A. Smith or a Skip or a Shannon or me and you. Like, we're talking heads. Okay, fine. But the reporters are simply reporting what they're hearing.
So, and with that, by the way, I mean, they can utilize those same reporters the way that the teams are utilizing them, that they leak stuff too. And that's technically what Aaron's doing. So no, to answer, I don't even know how to answer that, what we want out of our athletes. But at the same time, I don't think it's as simple as, when athletes don't talk, we get mad. And when athletes talk, we get mad. I think the context of what's being said or what's not being said matters. I don't think it's as simple as not talking versus talking.
That's
For
fair.
instance, Lamar Jackson, what I do get annoyed with Lamar is those cryptic, childish tweets, because at the end of the day, if you have something to say it, because if not, like he countered the Adam Schefter was actually accurate with his reporting that it was as far as the incentives and everything that would be added on top of the 133 million or whatever. But he said it's 133 guaranteed for 3 years, when it was actually a 5-year, 3-year guaranteed 133, because we thought, oh, that 133 over 3 sounds fair, yada yada. There was more to, but he puts out that cryptic tweet that makes everyone question it. Then it's all up in the air, and then he sits back. He just does the tweet, sits back. That stuff drives me crazy. But that's how today's modern athlete operates. Like, that's what social media is kind of being used for. But like, talk and have something to say.
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk and then stir the pot even more, because Aaron Rodgers is just stirring the pot more and more.
True.
He's not saying anything. Like he said today, well, I mean, I don't know what all the confusion's about. I knew on Friday I was going to play, and I was going to play for the Jets. So you can't do that.
That's
type
news
of tone.
to us.
Yeah. Like, and we're the ones that are reaching out, trying to grasp for that information. By the way, it was made of, I guess, official. I guess you can read this how you want, but Dallas, ESPN's Adam Schefter, Dallas Cowboys and running back Ezekiel Elliott officially are parting ways, and he will now be a free agent. So Zeke's time in Dallas is done. Where he ends up, Buffalo, who knows? Who knows where he can end up? It'll be interesting to follow that. The Bears, who knows? We'll see what happens as far as that's concerned. So it's been just interesting nonetheless today. And then the other thing, how about the Cincinnati Bengals? obviously we knew they lost Von Bell, they lost Bates, but they lose Pirine and they lose Hurst. Now again, some of those Hurst goes to the Panthers. And Pirine going to, I already forgot where Pirine went to. Why am I drawing a blank? Either way, he's out
Broncos.
To the Broncos. Broncos are, by the way, quietly having a very good offseason. I know everyone the last memory of them is just how bad Russell Wilson was, but they are quietly, they're rebuilding that offensive line. They've, getting some offensive pieces to kind of put around them a little bit. That Pirine addition is big. Down 1 or 2 players, right? You're -4 right now. You've made 0 additions. And the AFC is just getting better and better. The Browns are getting better. Everyone around them is getting better. The Jets now going to get Aaron Rodgers. That's a problem. I know we talked about a lot of bad about Aaron Rodgers, but as I've told you, Aaron Rodgers, the narcissistic personality drives me crazy. But Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback, that's a problem. That's a problem for the Browns. That's a problem for your Steelers. That's a problem for the Cincinnati Bengals at this point. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. The Bengals, they have a plan. Who knows what that plan is? But, man, I hope for Bengals fans' sake, they're all losing their minds. They're literally all losing their minds. They are angry. But I'm like, what did you expect? I didn't expect the Bengals to be major players in free agency. Duke Tobin, I know we talked about this yesterday, so I don't want to spend a lot of time on it today. But Duke Tobin said the whole purpose of this year's offseason was going to be about taking care of the team internally. But I don't think what fans had anticipated was so much of the, guys leaving. And not, you're not really, who are you taking care of internally? It's about setting up the names that are going to be taken care of internally down the road.
Right.
Cincinnati's been very, very quiet. And this is another situation. Fans are saying, what's the plan? What's the plan? We're not privy to the plan. This is where the anger and frustration comes from. I will say the Bengals don't owe the fans anything. They have a plan and they need to stick to it. The Reds do that. We hate it, but they have a plan. They're sticking to it nonetheless. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, 4 names. That's a big blow. Each one of those individuals, not the biggest loss individually, but collectively, that's a big loss. All 4 of those guys played a major role in the success of the team over the last 2 years.
So Bates, Bell, Pirine, who else?
And Hurst.
Hurst, yes. So out of those guys,
I don't even know why we're surprised. I think we all kind of expected those names.
We knew Bates was going to be gone. Pirine, no offense, not a big loss. It's just not. Is not a big loss because of the devaluation of the running back. If we can talk about all right, we're not going to give this running back a contract extension or Saquon Barkley a contract extension, we can find the Saquon Barkley wherever, then the Cincinnati Bengals can find a backup running back wherever. And that wherever could be the NFL draft. It could be signing Zeke for all we know. So that's not a big deal. The biggest deal for me, if I'm a Cincinnati Bengal fan, is Hurst. I know that they're planning on getting the tight end in the draft, but Hurst was very good for them this season, especially stepped up a ton when Jamar Chase went out. Not to say he was running the Jamar Chase route tree or anything like that, but they did plug him in to the slot a little bit. He was able to eat a little bit. So, that one hurts a little bit. And the Von Bell, didn't see that one coming. Honestly, I didn't even know Von Bell was a free agent this upcoming season, but you already knew the base was going to be gone. He told you, the team told you, we told him, we knew that was going to happen. So the only one for me that oh, wow, didn't see that one coming. And maybe we should have because we followed the team and covered the team. But Von Bell was oh, man, I thought that was kind of left field. Didn't even know he's a free agent.
So the problem is, and I think Pirine, here's why I think people are bothered, is they're leaving for not very much money. You can't afford to pay Hurst $4 million a year. You can't afford to pay Pirine $3 million a year. That's where I can relate to Bengals fans saying that. So we're this close to getting back to a Super Bowl. We were this close to winning one 2 years ago, and you're just letting him go. Bates, I get. You ain't gonna pay him $16 million. That I get. But the Von Bell thing, that was less than $10 million. You can't do that. Especially when you had that's all everyone bragged about. We had 4th most cap space heading into the offseason. Now, I get it. I've already talked about how I'm very aware of what the plan is. But at the same time, you're so focused on the future, you're forgetting about the now. And 2 of those guys out, but now all 4, and you're making 0 moves. Now, they're going to make moves. In 2 days, we're going to forget about all this stuff, and they're not going to be sexy moves, but they're going to be good enough moves that, but you're not going to plug all of these holes. And you're going to try and do it in the draft. The thing is, now it's all the unknown. Now you're no longer comfortable with the Bengals defense heading into next season to where you were before. But I do think now I'm noticing the panic mode starting to settle in for Bengals fans.
I'll tell them this. even though it's probably not going to happen, if they go out there and sign Orlando Brown with all this money that they end up saving by letting these 4 dudes go, they won't be singing the same song that they're singing right now. They'll be like, great move. Way to pick him up. We didn't need Piron. We didn't need Bates. We didn't need a Bell. Now we got a starting offensive tackle, a Super Bowl winner on our team. He wanted to play with Joe Burrow instead of Patrick Mahomes. That's what people be saying.
So that's I want to get to some college basketball stuff. The madness is officially here, but
shooter.
I'm just tired of the tears on social media from Bengals fans who don't understand how all this works. But I'm relating to some of them who are like, hey, we know it's coming, but at the same time, we're losing some very good guys for money that we have. Like, it's not as if they don't. Now, a couple things coming in. Ryan Holzapple said, Kev, you're on it today. P. Ryan isn't a big loss, but you're wrong about Hurst.
That's what I said that. Oh, wait. He thinks Hurst is or isn't a big loss. I think it is a quality loss. I mean, he stepped up a ton for them.
He said Hurst had 414 receiving yards. No way. So Ryan's doing the thing. He's one of them Bengals fans that Mike Brown could do no wrong. Apparently, he believes that, everything the Bengals are doing is right and blah, blah, blah. He says, no way were the Bengals going to give a 29-year-old tight end who has been averaging at best a 3-year deal like Carolina did. 29 years old into 32 at a very cost-efficient deal. I do think that's wrong because he's the perfect tight end for them, Kev, because they're not a tight end-centric offense.
Right.
But you know that you have a very reliable tight end option. You don't want to go get, and I mean, I know this sounds ridiculous, so hear me out. But you don't want to go get an elite tight end to put there because then that takes away what makes you guys click, which is your Jamar Chase, your T. Higgins, and your, you know what I mean? Like, Hurst was the perfect complement to that, where he was just good enough to be productive for you, but not bad enough to slow down or hurt the offense. I think the Hurst thing is a big deal. I disagree with him big time.
Yeah, I disagree as well. I would tell him, go look at the game logs and look what he did when Jamar Chase was out that month of the season.
He became almost like, you don't think he's the replacement, but
no, he's not the replacement. But I mean, like, okay, we need somebody to step up, and he stepped up. Yep. And something we always forget about a tight end, they're an extra blocker. Go look at what he did in that Buffalo Bills game, in the run game. That matters.
You know who I think at tight end for the Bengals would be good is Austin Hooper.
Stone hands.
Because it wasn't about when the Browns signed him. What people forget, when the Browns signed him and gave him all that money, they were hoping he'd be a little bit more productive in the pass game, yes. But the biggest reason that they signed Austin Hooper was because he was one of the best run blocking tight ends and pass blocking tight ends out there.
Fair.
That's where I think Austin Hooper would be a huge addition to the Cincinnati Bengals, because anybody that can help them in any kind of pass or run blocking thing at this point is going to be key. But I do think Hooper is someone, but he's a little older too.
I would draft Darnell Washington out of Georgia.
Yep, that's what. That's
who I would draft.
Dustin Taylor said Schultz is still out there. I'm still hoping for that.
Woo!
If you can't,
he's gonna cost a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, how much Schultz is better than
Hurst, he's gonna be
how much better to the point to where you would have to spend. Is the cost worth it? No, I don't think so.
He's gonna be like at least $10 million a year.
Brian Schwederman says losing Hurst really kills us. He was a great value for what we needed him to be, and he would be affordable enough to keep. So, something just Keith Tolliver. He says the Reds charging for Wi-Fi is funny. Are they charging for Wi-Fi? Is that a thing?
Really?
Keith, where'd you get that? Are they actually doing that? William Yelly says if the Reds plan to lose, they are doing a perfect job. I mean, they're very direct with us.
So, according to Sports Track, Schultz projected contract will be a 4-year deal for $61 million.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money, dog. And I mean, he's good, but like, there's a reason why, like, the Dallas Cowboys got to let him go because he's gonna break the bank.
And by the way, so do you know how Ryan says? Do you know how deep the draft is this year at tight end? It's one of the best in recent years.
Yeah,
great, but you're okay. If that, I mean, and that's fine, but you've lost you're worse today than you were this past season. You're not getting better right now. You're officially worse, and that's where we're at right now. So until you draft them, and until you actually have that tight end, this is where this becomes a little. But this is the nature of doing business. He also had one more hot take to add in there, Kev. Holzapple said Jets won't make the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers.
Wow!
Unless you can predict him getting hurt, I don't know how you could say they're not going to make the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers.
I know we got to go. go to break, and this is basketball, but real quick, is the Buffalo Bills window closed, considering everything that the Dolphins are doing, everything that the Jets are doing, and then obviously the defending champs, Chiefs, like last year going into the last season, Buffalo, everybody, Buffalo's going to win the Super Bowl. Buffalo's going to win the Super Bowl. They got mauled by the Cincinnati Bengals in the trenches at home, and now everybody around them is getting better too. Not only like in other divisions, but like in their own division in the AFC East.
It's weird saying that the Patriots are the team you have to worry about the least, and they're still okay. They're still solid. They're like kind of like the Steelers of that division, where you want to cast them off to the side, but it's the coaching that makes them relevant. I'll say this. I kind of want to say that window is closing, but this is what I want to bring up because Bengals fans are agreeing. Yes, the window's closed. But do you realize how hypocritical you Bengals fans sound? Because when I said Joe Burrow sounded like really, really silly, like a stand-up comedian when he said, as long as I'm here, the window to win a championship. No, Joey B. That's not how it works. Yes, I mean, as long as you have that elite starting quarterback, you feel like you have a shot. But Josh Allen's just as elite and dominant as Joe Burrow. And guess what? Their window, at least as the way it looks right now, because the way they've had to disperse money or take money away from other star players because it's being absorbed now into the quarterback, this is where the Bengals will be in 2 to 3 years. So, yes, I do think that window, it's not shut, but it's definitely not as wide open as what it was. Some of it's because their roster is taking a step back because of financial reasons, and other is because the division around them has increased significantly. So, yes, I can kind of agree with that to a certain extent, nonetheless. But I don't know how you could say how can you, Ryan, how in the world could you say the Jets are not making the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers? They were almost a playoff team with the carousel of quarterbacks that they had last year, and they actually have already, I mean, they're doing something the Bengals aren't. They're actually adding weapons. They're adding weapons. They're adding an elite level quarterback, back-to-back MVP before last year when they took weapons away in Aaron Rodgers. Now you're making me defend Aaron Rodgers.
It worked.
This is fear from Bengals fans because Aaron Rodgers in the AFC. That's just one more quarterback that they have to worry about. That's all it is. That's all it is. The madness is here. Let's talk about college basketball.
Let's do it.
We'll be right back.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
This March, take a shot at college hoops with a no-sweat bet on FanDuel Sportsbook. It doesn't matter if you're new to FanDuel or already have an account. Right now, all customers can tip off the tourney with a no-sweat bet. Just sign into your FanDuel Sportsbook account to claim yours today. Or if you're new to FanDuel, go to FanDuel.com/Kinner, Kinner, to get in on the action. Then you can bet on everything from the money line to point spreads, even to that 5 versus 12 seed matchup that you've been keeping an eye on. All in an app that is safe, secure, and super easy to use. There is no better place to bet the tournament than FanDuel Sportsbook. Just go to FanDuel.com/Kinner, Kinner, to join now or sign into your FanDuel Sportsbook account to claim your no-sweat bet today. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You must be 21 and older and present in Ohio. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max bonus bet $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war in the term life industry. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man aged 45, non-smoker, can get $1 million of coverage for $75 per month. Level rate for 10 years. Or a man aged 50, non-smoker, can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of $110. Level rate for 20 years. That's right, guaranteed level rate for 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Termbusters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for a new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote. 800-786-9161. You're probably paying more than you should. Call 1-800-786-9161. Remember, 1-800-786-9161. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-smoker rate class. Exam required to qualify.
College basketball frickin' heats up this year like never before. Frickers brings back a fan favorite, frickin' street tacos that add to the drama that the tournament provides. Frickin' chicken tacos, char-broiled chicken tacos, and Mississippi barbecue tacos. Frickers also scores with a 48-ounce personal pitcher of ice-cold domestic draft beer for only $6.50 all the games. Frickin' street tacos, $6.50 personal pitchers, nowhere else but the home for fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
With over 15 years of experience as your local lawn health provider, Lawn Plus knows what it takes to provide a thick, healthy lawn. We offer fertilization and weed control programs, aeration and seeding, as the best defense against weeds is a thick turf. If your current lawn care company is providing 6 to 8 applications, that is far too many. We offer the highest quality products and service to get the best results in just 4 applications a year. Call us today at 937-839-LAWN, and remember, if you give a weed an inch, it'll take a yard.
I'm Terry Krupp of Laird's Tax and Accounting, serving this area's tax and accounting needs for over 80 years. If you have concerns about your tax return, we invite you to discover how we can make your tax filing experience easier. If you had a difficult experience in the past, our professional staff can provide the accurate return you want with maximum use of all legitimate deductions. Laird's Tax and Accounting is a trusted name and stands behind your return if the IRS calls. Contact us at 937-325-6571. Information at lairdstax.com.
Get 11% off everything at Menards and update your home's lighting today. Keep your home safe and secure with Menards' great selection of outdoor lights from Patriot Lighting. We carry motion-activated security lights in stock to brighten your home and provide peace of mind. Right now, pick up an LED dual-head motion-sensing security floodlight for $19.99 after 11% rebate. Good through March 19th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text PRIDE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text PRIDE to 42424. That's PRIDE to 42424.
Are you ready for tax season? Belmont Business Consultants and Tax Services is ready for you. If you want to come in person, it's a safe environment. Or you can just drop off. Belmont Tax also provides a completely virtual secure client portal. For business or personal, if you want the accurate deductions you deserve, contact Belmont Tax in Dayton and Eaton. Go to BelmontBCTXS.com. BelmontBCTXS.com. DiscoverCreditCards.com.
Discover credit cards do something awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right. Everything you earn doubled. See terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
Jeff Graham.
Trotwood's coach. Okay.
Trotwood, yeah. Trotwood coach Jefferson County. And I always, I'm supposed to get out there later in the springtime. I'm going to come see him later in the spring. But I used to spend a lot of time when we played together at the Jets in Dayton, Ohio with him. I'm familiar with Bob Evans, as I always tease him. But, man, only good food place y'all got out there. Bob Evans.
Don't miss the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
Are you a fan of Twin Peaks? Sign up for our e-club to stay up to date on all things Twin Peaks and score free stuff. Signing up is easy. Just visit twinpeaksrestaurant.com/peaks-club to get started today. I'm really excited because tomorrow, throughout the day before we have our show tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to be out at Twin Peaks watching the tip-off to all the games. I know that's where you and I will kind of both be tomorrow. This isn't like an event, like we're doing our show or anything out there, but
this is just us hanging out.
Just us hanging out. But our new partnership with Twin Peaks here, Kidder and Kevin, Twin Peaks, we appreciate our new partnership with Twin Peaks. So make sure, again, if you are a fan of Twin Peaks, that you sign up for their e-club to stay up to date on all things Twin Peaks. And for those of you who, again, did sign up for their Madness Bracket Challenge, make sure you're continuing to check that as well. I know everyone has a different challenge, a bracket challenge and whatnot, but when you do that, when you do register, show them that you get free chips and queso. So something to keep in mind.
And they do great things. They have plenty of activities going on, like National Chip and Dip Day, which is going down on March 23rd. You can join us for that because we'll also be out there for that. And Kenner's favorite, International Whiskey Day, March 27th. Oh, it's going to be epic behavior from him and I. And also always got the happy hour going down. Tons of great alcoholic beverages on tap, cocktails from tequila cocktails, bourbons, everything that you want. And also you can always check out their full menu at twinpeaksrestaurant.com.
So many great sports bars around here, but that's the spot that I'm looking forward to being at tomorrow to tip off the start to the NCAA tournament, of course, for the first round. That is, nonetheless, St. Patrick's Day coming up. So when you're done with our half K draft dash presented by Buckeye Vodka, of course, there's going to be plenty of things afterwards for you. What are we going to do that day? Well, how about Twin Peaks? Feeling lucky? Wear some green into the lodge, and your Twin Peaks girl will bring you a free order of fried pickles. How about that?
Let's get it on, man. Like,
how about that?
Look, man, St. Patty's Day, a great day to have a good time and go out and celebrate and have some great beverages with friends. Why not do it at Twin Peaks?
All right, good stuff. Again, shout out to Twin Peaks. Appreciate their partnership here, Kenner and Kev on 1410 ESPN Radio. How about the first four last night? Couple big, again, when you don't know the teams that well, but still two games that ended up being really good. Szabo came back, and had a chance to win that late towards the end. But tonight, the 16 seed matchup, Farley Dickinson and Texas Southern, and then Nevada and Arizona State. But how about Pitt last night?
Yeah.
Pitt last night. I mean, apparently last year UD fans got mad because Wright State's social media account put out that we're making UD Arena our house. Well, they lost their minds. They couldn't handle it. But last night, continuing on that trend, Pitt made UD Arena their house. It was a Pitt-friendly crowd. Let's just put it that way.
I wonder if Arizona State is going to show up in droves because, they've been in the first four before. They kind of know the lay of the land. They know the landscape of Dayton, Ohio. So I'm very interested to see who's going to win this game tonight because they're both coming from the West Coast. So, there's no team with a clear advantage because that's what I kind of heard from the Arizona State fan base last time. Like, well, Syracuse is on the East time zone and we had to come all the way out here. Well, both teams are coming all the way out to Dayton, Ohio. So it should be a good game tonight.
Yeah, I love when people say, well, I can't believe they made him come all the way out here. Well, what do you mean you can't? I mean, it's just that don't be 11 seed.
Right.
That's just basically what it comes down to as far as that's concerned. But Kenner and Cav here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Coming up here in the next hour, we're going to catch up with Coach Szabo, the head coach for Chaminade Julienne. That's going to be coming up at 4:20. At 4:20, we'll catch up with Coach Szabo again. The you have Chaminade Julienne Cav Friday morning, 10:45 a.m. Lutheran West in Division II OHSAA State boys basketball semifinal action. And they have quite a loaded roster, by the way.
Yeah.
George Washington III was not listed as a finalist for Mr. Basketball, but he did win the Gatorade Player of the Year award. But I don't even know how that kid was not even listed as a finalist for Mr. Basketball. That's what's wild to me. Cups won it last year, correct? And he did not get it this year. Player from Pickerton Central, future Buckeye, got it. So we'll highlight that coming up. But that's
and those two teams play on Saturday.
Semifinal. It's a rematch, I believe, of the championship game from last year. So I'm getting jacked up. I'll be working with the OHSA this weekend for all the state tournament action. So I'm jacked. I worked the OHSA state girls tournament this past weekend, that UD Arena for that. So I will say, I was upset when they took it out of Columbus, not about where it was going. It's just because they took it out of Columbus. Like my memories of the state tournament growing up, Columbus. But I will say, after talking to various OHSA reps over the weekend, that the girls tournament is just so much better because of how loud. I mean, it is loud, and it's the boys tournament too. Everyone, instead of being spread out, like this, I'll give them. Yes, I mean, it is cool playing at the Shot on the Buckeye floor. It's where the Buckeyes play. Yada. It's Columbus, but the environment is significantly better. I mean, it is such a. I mean, you know how loud the arena could be. I thought the atmosphere for every girls game was just fantastic last weekend. Working with the OHSA radio network and doing the same thing for the boys tournament this weekend. It's going to be loud. It's going to be crazy. And you have two local teams looking to win a state championship in Chaminade Julienne and Centerville. So I'm looking forward to that.
It's going to be a great time, man. And you talk about, you know, your era where it was at.
My era. I'm 33.
You know, I'm old enough to remember where it was at St. John's Arena. You know what I'm saying? So then it transitioned over to the Shot, and now it's here in our backyard, UD Arena. And I love it because it's only 15 minutes away from my house.
Well, traffic.
True.
Traffic.
True.
But nonetheless, Kenner and Cap 1410 ESPN Radio. We'll be right back. Kenner and Cav right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
College basketball freaking heats up this year like never before. Frickers brings back a fan favorite, frickin' street tacos that add to the drama that the tournament provides. Frickin' chicken tacos, charbroiled chicken tacos, and Mississippi barbecue taco. Frickers also scores with a 48-ounce personal pitcher of ice-cold domestic draft beer for only $6.50 all the games. Frickin' street tacos, $6.50 personal pitchers, nowhere else but the home for fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
The Hoop Collective Podcast.
I'm at our ESPN LA studios. You may remember that Bev did a couple of days of work for ESPN last year.
No, I remember. I was on with him.
He left a gorgeous Dolce & Gabbana suit here that is just spectacular.
You should wear it on TV today.
With a fun-filled day of events. The road starts at the University of Dayton softball fields with the 4-miler run at 9 a.m. Join us at noon for the free STEM challenge for K through 8th grade students at the Dayton Convention Center with hands-on exhibits and a basketball hot shot contest with prizes awarded. To register for the 4-miler and the STEM challenge, please visit DaytonHoopla.com.
Want to make tonight's dinner a perfect 10? Swing by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken and pick up a 10-piece strips meal for only $24.99. With 10 freshly marinated, honey-dipped premium tenderloins, 3 dipping sauces, 2 of our irresistible large sides, and 5 fluffy biscuits, it's family time made from scratch. Take home a top-notch dinner the whole family will love from Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken with our 10-piece strips meal for only $24.99. Only at Lee's. Famous for chicken.
Hi, Greg McAfee here for McAfee Heating and Air. Dayton and the Miami Valley enjoy buying products made in the USA. Unfortunately, many HVAC products are now made in the communist country of China, and that's where the profits go too. McAfee systems come from the states of Indiana, South Carolina, Iowa, and Texas, and we're proud of it. 32 years strong. Get an estimate online at mcair.com.
Get 50% off tax prep at Jackson Hewitt. 50% off is a limited time offer for new clients filing participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Hey, it's Justin Kinner from the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. We appreciate all of our listeners and, of course, our sponsors. In fact, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be able to do what we do every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. We take pride in being Dayton's only local afternoon sports talk show right here in the Miami Valley. If you would like to jump in as a sponsor of our show or promote your services within our show, all you have to do is reach out to us directly by texting us at 937-518-1410. Want Kevin and I to endorse your business and services? Just text us. You want to promote an open house, a grand opening, new location, or any other kind of service? Just text us. Bottom line is that we are here to help spread the word and help grow your business. Text us today, 937-518-1410, and we'll give you all of the information that you need to start promoting your business on the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Kinner and Kev back with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station 1410 Wing AM. Live on ESPN Dayton's YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, follow along. Our basketball mayhem bracket challenge. Make sure you, and that's presented by Titan Graphics, by the way. Make sure you get your picks submitted. You have until tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday already. Holy smokes. You have until tomorrow at noon before the games tip off to get those picks in. So please do not forget. If you pick the perfect bracket, you win $1 million. So
wow,
that's pretty cool. $100 in Frickers Bucks awarded to the tournament winner. So keep that in mind as well. So get your picks submitted at wingam.com. You'll see it right there on the homepage. The Basketball Mayhem Bracket Challenge presented by Titan Graphics. And thank you to our friends at Frickers for the $100 in Frickers Bucks that'll be awarded to the tournament winner. So we do appreciate them. I don't want to get into the NFL, but it does set, Jacoby Brissett to
Commanders.
The Commanders. I saw that come in too from Keith Tolliver. Keith, appreciate that. Thank you, man. And then the other one today, Baker Mayfield to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't know if we talked about that earlier, but Baker Mayfield to Tampa.
Run!
I know. And he's trying to pretend to be like, I don't think he's going to be that bad and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you buried it. And by the way, now he's Baker Mayfield after being called Baker Hayfield for all them years.
Hayfield.
All of a sudden, now Ron knows how to get his name right. So, last couple of days, Damon Hahn, he says, who doesn't like Twin Peaks, by the way?
Hey.
Greg.
Meet us out there.
Greg Lewis says, looks like the old Bengal way may have returned. Bengals one play away from getting back to the second straight Super Bowl. They've made zero effort so far in free agency. Last thing here, Ryan Holzapple. Let's wait and see how next season unfolds in the NFL when they're actually playing games. It's amazing to me how free agency in the draft all of a sudden create a playoff team or have whoa. Sorry, I'm getting dizzy. I'm having a hard time reading this due to all the hypocrisy that's just bleeding through this, Mr. Holzapple. I don't know Ryan. I feel like I know Ryan because we spar back and forth on the page all the time. But I find this very hypocritical coming from a Bengals fan, Kev, saying I'd rather let the results on the field speak for each team. This is the fan base that has just done nothing but talk more smack and have become more obnoxious than any other fan base out there. Not all of them. And Ryan, you're not obnoxious. I like Ryan. I don't know him, but I know him from the page. He brings good points to the table. This is a bad one though, Ryan, because I will say your whole family, just give Joe Burrow an offensive line and he's going to win the Super Bowl. He didn't even get back to the Super Bowl, and they did give him an offensive line. So you can miss me with that, Ryan, with all due respect. You can miss me with that because that's not how it works. That's not how it works. And if that's how you want it to work, then Kev, we're just going to shut these mics off and we'll just come back. I'll see you in September.
See ya.
See you in September.
See ya.
PTO,
long vacation.
A couple months of PTO to use.
Peace out, Boy Scout.
All right, we turn our attention over to college basketball, Kev, and I hate the fact that the NFL has to dominate everything, and good for them. I mean, we've been meaning to. How many? It's Wednesday. This is our 2.5 days into this.
Yeah,
we're finally getting to some college basketball stuff. That's not just a light preview of what's going on in the first four, of course. But right now, this tournament to me is really about as difficult of any to feel. I mean, look, we always think we feel confident who we think is going to win it all, but not so much this year. I know we have our Final Four teams. I know we've kind of gone through this bracket a few times, and we may feel good about the teams we've ended up with. But I think I've come across more coin flip games than I've ever had before. Like, I'm serious. Like, there are usually every year there's teams I feel really, really good about. I don't feel really, really good even about the teams that I picked to get to the Final Four. Every single one of these teams, there's 2 or 3 matchups along the way where I'm like, I don't know, man. I could see him losing to this team. It's going to be really interesting. Creighton is one that I really, really like. I have Creighton getting to the Elite 8, but I really, really like Creighton, Kev, because of their length. They have their length that can shoot too. It's not just that they have size and length down low. Their length and size can actually shoot the basketball too. I like teams that can shoot the three.
Yeah.
Teams that can shoot the three in the NCAA tournament. Those are the teams that I'm a big fan of. Size and 3-point shooting ability always is the route that I go when trying to coin flip games come about.
One of my sleeper teams is not a sleeper. It's an oldie but goodie, but they're not on TV like they used to be all the time because of, the Big East isn't what it used to be. But UConn, I'm rolling with UConn to make a nice little run. Don't have them going to the Final Four, but I got them making a lot of noise in this tournament. And one of the main reasons is because of Tristan Newton. I finally got a chance to watch him play. I've heard so much about him. He's a grad transfer from ECU. And you talk about the 3-point shot. He's shooting at 42% from 3-point land. It's like, so that's filling it up. You know what I'm saying? And, UConn is always well coached. They got big men inside. So that's a sleeper team for me. Another sleeper team for me, not so much really a sleeper because we know of this coach, but Memphis. I really like Memphis. They were able to beat Houston in the AAC championship game. Houston beat them twice in the regular season, and then eventually Memphis was able to beat them in the conference championship game, kind of like a flip-flop of what happened last year. And the main thing about Memphis that I like this year is they don't have the McDonald's All-American, the one and done, the big time superstar. James Wiseman, he had a cup of coffee there. Imani Bates. But this team is built kind of like through the transfer portal and through like guys that quote unquote want to be there, that aren't thinking about the next level. They are focused on, hey man, I'm in college right now. Let's make the most of this opportunity that we're blessed with. So I got them upsetting Purdue in the second round. And then I got them beating Tennessee, big rivals between those two schools later on in the tournament. So those are my two sleepers, Memphis and UConn.
So, and this isn't a sleeper because it's a 1 seed in Purdue. The weakest of all the 1 seeds is who, in your opinion? Is it Purdue because they're the Big Ten? I mean, your 1 seeds right now are Alabama, Houston, obviously Purdue, and Kansas. Kansas, I think, is vulnerable because of the stuff going on with Coach Self.
Right. The medical stuff.
Some people say, well, coaching, I mean, that doesn't matter. The talent, is what well, no, I think in college
they
basketball,
get paid millions of dollars for a reason.
I think in college basketball, I think college football, if like Coach Day had to miss a game or two, like let's say Coach Day had to miss a playoff game, I think Ohio State could still win. But that's not a shot at Coach Day. I just think in college football, it's a lot about coordinators, defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators. It's still the same. Basketball is a little different. I think Kansas is vulnerable, but Purdue's vulnerable just because they're a freaking Big Ten team. Purdue has everything that I like. They have size, 3-point shooting, and size that could shoot the three. That's why I like Purdue, but it's really hard for me to trust them. I have Memphis knocking them out in the Sweet 16. I have Memphis knocking them out in the second round of 32. I have Memphis getting to the Sweet 16 before being knocked out by Duke. But nonetheless, Purdue, I feel like I'm making a mistake not picking them further into the tournament.
I probably am too, because Edey is a monster down there, and they don't make them like that anymore. Like a big man that plays like a big man that says, "Hey, you know what? I'm 7'2". I'm going to put both my feet in the paint, and I'm going to turn and throw a hook shot, or I'm going to try to dunk it." Like they just don't make them like that no more, and they don't play like that anymore. So I won't say 1-on-1, but like he's really the only guy out there trying to do that. So has a very unique skill set that people really can't stop. So
it's gonna be.
I just think I just taught myself and making them go to the Final Four.
So Houston, I have getting to the Final Four. I have them beating, obviously, Northern Kentucky to the horizon right off the bat in the first round, but I have them getting past Iowa. Then I have them getting past Kent State. I do have Kent State getting to the Sweet 16. Kent State kind of splashed under the scene right away. They were beating very, very good teams right off the bat in the non-con. And I know they weren't beating like sexy, big Power 5 teams, but like teams that were picked to win their conference in preseason polls, like Northern Kentucky and others, they were blasting them by 25 early in the season. They were letting people know right off the bat, hey, we're you're supposed to beat bad team, not bad. Northern Kentucky's not bad, but you're supposed to beat the team, but they were pummeling good teams. I like Kent State. I really wish, Toledo they were impacted by just being a MAC team, but I thought Toledo deserved to be in this field, to be quite honest. I watched a lot of Toledo this year, but I do like Kent State to kind of make a little mini run in here. I think the Sweet 16, but I don't think Kent State should be considered a Cinderella team. If Kent State gets to the Sweet 16, they're that damn good. I don't think that should be considered a Cinderella team. St. Peter's getting there. That's a Cinderella team. You're a double-digit seed. And what is Kent State? Kent State is they're 13. I feel bad for Indiana. I do have them beating Indiana.
Really?
That's a very good. Yeah, in the first. I mean, I have them getting to the Sweet 16. I have them beating Indiana.
Well,
do you have Indiana in your Final Four?
I don't have them in my Final Four, but I got them in the Elite 8. I got them losing to Texas in the Elite 8. What's the kid's name? Trace Jackson Davis.
Yep.
I know Edie is the best player in the Big Ten, but he's the second best player in the Big Ten. 20-10 every night. Super athletic. They run. Mike Woodson's a very good coach. I got Indiana making some noise in this tournament as well.
I'm trying to think. By the way, I'm not calling the 16-1 upset. You just don't do that. I will say, though, Northern Kentucky has extremely athletic guards to match Houston's guards.
Yeah, and one of them is down.
So what Houston will dominate them on, though, is just that suffocating defense. Mark Adams, love Mark Adams with ESPN, but he covers a lot of American Conference games all season long. That's kind of the package that he has with ESPN. He did the Horizon League championships as well, but he covered A10 or American Conference pretty much all season. And Houston, suffocating defense. They're going to put that full court press on you. They're going to suffocate you that way. NKU's guards, though, that's the one thing. I mean, and again, it comes down to tournament settings. They weren't close to being the best team in the Horizon this year, but they had the best set of guards. And usually the team with the best set of guards comes out of the Horizon League more times than not, and that's what happened with NKU this year. I'm just saying, I'm not calling that upset, but don't be surprised if that upset alert comes across your screen and NKU's making a game of it deep into the second half. But them being without that key guard is key as well. Missouri, SEC team. That's not going to be an upset team, but that's a team that didn't make the tournament the last couple of years. They go and get Dennis Gates from Cleveland State. Cleveland State was a god-awful program, okay? Dennis Gates gets there. I mean, they won double-digit more games than they did the year before. He was automatically, I think he shared Coach of the Year with Wright State's Scott Nagy the first year he was in the Horizon. And then after that, took them to the NCAA tournament where they played Houston and played Houston tight a little bit. That was in the bubble tournament. I think they played Houston at Indiana at the in Bloomington, by the way.
Okay.
Remember those?
Yeah.
They're playing at all those locations. But I'm a big Dennis Gates fan. So you had a theory for how you pick teams. Your theory is different than mine. So I like teams that have size, three-point shooting, and especially teams that have size that can shoot the three. But in tournaments like this, where there's not that number one dominant team, I pick coaching, which is why we talked about Purdue earlier. I like Dennis Gates out of Missouri, but I don't have him in the Final Four, but this has Tom Izzo and Michigan State written all over it. I'm just saying, look out for Tom Izzo and the Spartans.
This year, I'm just going with the best players. And Bama has the best player in college basketball.
To be clear, so it's like in the NFL, in the playoff games, you don't really know, okay, which team has the best quarterback? That's kind of who you're rolling with. So in this situation, the team coin flip game, who has the best star player?
Yeah.
Brandon.
I was almost calling Brandon Allen. Goodness gracious. But they have the best player in college basketball. Yes, I am fully aware of some of the things that's going on with him legally. Hasn't been charged. They're rolling him out there to play basketball. He's going to play, and he's going to put up numbers. And, I mean, just think about the game that he had when everything kind of like hit the fan. They won in overtime at South Carolina, crazy environment. He dropped 40. Like 40 points in the NBA is almost a nightly thing. But 40 points in a college basketball game is not likely. It doesn't happen every day. So I'm rolling with Bama, not only to make the Final Four, but I got Bama winning the whole thing. So I got Bama, K-State, Texas, and UCLA. And then I got Bama and UCLA in the championship game with Bama winning it all.
Well, the madness is officially here. Get your pick submitted, your Basketball Mayhem Bracket Challenge bracket. Get that submitted. Get your pick submitted at wingam.com. Thank you to our sponsors, Titan Graphics, and thank you to our friends over at Frickers. $100 in Frickers Bucks will be awarded to the tournament winner. You can continue to check your results at wingam.com. All right, so we'll continue talking some basketball, some tournament basketball action. State tournament, boys basketball, the OHSA Boys State Tournament coming up this weekend. Friday morning, 10:45, University of Dayton Arena. You'll see Lutheran West, who had to beat by Van Wert Cougars team, by the way, in the regional finals. Very painful. But they beat Van Wert to get to the semifinals of the state semifinals out of Division II, and that's where they'll take on our local team in CJ in Chaminade Julienne. 10:45 CJ against Lutheran West, and when we come back, we're going to be joined by Charlie Szabo, the head coach for the Eagles. Excited to catch up with him and talk about his team's fun run throughout the regular season, especially the tournament. I mean, down 8, 3:26 to go against Alter. They beat Alter twice this year. It's tough to beat the same team twice, but they had to do it 3 times. Down 8, 3:26 to go. They rally. They come from behind, and that speaks volumes. And then, of course, congratulations to George Washington III, who, talking with Coach earlier, a little shocked that he wasn't even named a finalist for Mr. Basketball. But, again, he was named the winner of the Gatorade Player of the Year. So congratulations to CJ's, George Washington III. But cool story about how this CJ run came about. All George Washington III and his 2 brothers all transferred to CJ from Louisville. Again, his dad is a part of the their dad. I'm sorry, is a part of the women's staff.
Okay,
Coach Tamika Williams-Jeter. So they moved here, transferred over to Chaminade Julienne. I believe they came from over in Louisville, if I'm not mistaken. But this team could play, and I'm really hoping to see them hoist up a state championship trophy to represent Division II coming up this weekend at UD Arena. Also, Centerville competing for a D1 championship. We'll talk about them more later on in the show. But when we come back, Charlie Szabo, head coach of the Eagles, next.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Our forecast: increasing clouds and 32 tonight, partly sunny tomorrow, high of 58. Friday, rain, breezy, and 53. I'm Rick Shrimp for 1410 ESPN Radio.